Hey everyone, Ross here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, guys, we're going to do a rundown of all the classes on Tarisland when it comes to PvP. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my recommendation of the best one to the worst one to use in Battlegrounds. Now, I don't know about arenas because arenas were locked during the beta test that I played, so I cannot make a list on that. Also, good to note before I get into the list of the best is this is going off my personal experience in Battlegrounds, which I was literally farming the living hell out of during the closed beta test and the technical beta test. This is my opinion. This is my sort of tier list, if you want to put it that way, of the best ones to be going off performance from my end and against me. So obviously, guys, if you want to disagree, the comments are down below. If you think a position of a certain class is in the wrong place, do let us know. I will sort of take that in mind when I do an updated version when the game actually launches in just over a week's time. But without further ado, guys, if you like the video down below, make sure you do subscribe. We're going to get into my top list for classes to use in PvP on Tarisland. Let's go. So guys, in last place for me is going to have to be the Ranger. Now I'm going to get a lot of comments about this. The Ranger's really good. Everyone's going to see it, which it can be. But I do feel like it's the worst one to be in a battleground scenario, and here's why. Okay, you've got one spec that's got the pet. The pet's kind of useless. It just dies or it doesn't do much damage, and because of that, you're lacking in an extra skill slot because of the pet summon. But when it comes to the other spec, the pure DPS one, you have to stand still to do the most damage. And in a battleground, you can see in a battleground, I'm constantly moving around to stop getting attacked or move out the way of things or chase people. If you have to stand still for it, you're going to lack DPS that you could otherwise get more of on a different class. So that's why, for this list, Ranger is the bottom place for me. Right guys, second to bottom would be the priest. Now I know I'm using a priest in the background here, but as you can see, I'm kind of not really doing much damage to anybody as a DPS spec. It's not really good, it's just sort of harassing. I'm doing a bit damage here and there, maybe he's getting a last hit on someone. It's not very impressive for a DPS character. When it comes to healing, I don't rate healers very high as fun in Battlegrounds. I think healing is better placed in a dungeon. I just don't rate it very high myself. Other people may disagree with that down below. But healers, well, are important. I don't find it very fun or engaging to do in a battleground because you're constantly just trying to follow people and they're running away or they're chasing someone, and it's just not a fun experience. I tried it a couple of times on stream. But for a DPS, it's not very good. It's slightly better than the standstill Ranger in a way. But in a way, it's not at the same time. It was quite hard for us to place these two either way from each other. Next, guys, is the paladin. Now, I didn't see very many paladins at all in the battlegrounds, but the ones I did see were either tanks or the DPS ones. The DPS ones didn't last very long, I'll be honest with you. They kind of just sort of followed people around and got killed. The tank ones lasted a bit longer, and while I do appreciate, obviously, tanking is important in a battleground for taking all the damage and the aggression off a lot of other things like targets and stuff like that, enemy targets, it just wasn't a game changer for me. It might change in the full version. I'm hoping it does because I do plan to play a paladin, but right now, the way it stands, in the experience I had with paladins, I don't find them very good versus the other classes. Yes, they do damage. Yes, I think the reason I put them at this place rather than below the priest or the ranger was because they've got a tank spec and they are useful because of that. Next, guys, is the warrior. Now, I played the warrior to quite an extent during the technical beta test in PvP, and I did enjoy the DPS side of it. However, I did find myself getting my arse handed to us by several other ranged classes. I think when it comes to fighting ranged foes, it's actually harder to do because all your skills are melee based. When it comes to tanking, I tanked the final battleground a couple of times, and the survivability was very, very high versus some of the lower classes. So I do find it very useful to tank in a team fight situation as the warrior. But the DPS for me, with it being melee only, you obviously got a disadvantage against ranged people who know how to kite you. And for that, it's scored low on this list. Next, guys, it's a similar scenario to the warrior with the barbarian warrior. Now, I did find that this one had a bit more advantages over the warrior, because as a DPS spec it does have a ranged attack which stops people kiting to an extent. You can hit them at range, you can also get them as they're running away, something the warrior didn't really have. On top of that, when it came to tanking, I did find the barbarians to be just in the middle of it, taking all the damage. You can see in the background there, I'm actually chasing one. Yeah, it lasted a substantial amount of time, longer than a lot of other people. And I did see them charging the Freya quite a lot. So I do think this is going to be a viable one for a melee class over the other ones. Right, in third place for me is going to be the Bard. Now, the Bard has got insanely good DPS and AoE capabilities when it comes to PvP. I got killed by Bards countless times, you've got no idea. I never tried it myself because I don't like the model of the character. That means a lot to me, cosmetic-wise. I have to like the character I'm playing. If I don't like the look of it, I'll not play it, simple as that. But yes, when it comes to healing, I'm not 100% sure because I didn't really see any Bard healers, but I'd imagine it probably on par with the DPS. But for some reason, the Bard was insanely broken in the previous version, and it did do a hell of a lot of damage, especially single target and sometimes multi-target as well. And I did find it being the bane of my existence in quite a lot of battlegrounds. In second place, guys, we have got the Shadow Swordsman. Now, I didn't actually play this one myself. However, I did find a lot of them in the battlegrounds with insane single target DPS. And when it comes to taking out healers at the back or nuking down the DPS on the hill that's like firing at everyone, it was really, really good to be one of these. And I will put it in second place, even though I haven't tried it because of that reason. They were extremely powerful, especially, like I say, single target. So that leaves just one class entirely for the top spot, which is, of course, the Mage. Now, the Mage has Frost or Fire. Fire seems to be the opportune one for everyone to use, seems to be the most viable one, because you do a lot of damage in short spaces of time, and obviously with a manaless system, it's really easy to just nuke people. A lot of the times on Battlegrounds, the top kill list was a Mage. Now, though, I did see a couple of Frost ones, and they basically just spammed Blizzard, which I think does crowd control. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it slows with it being Frost. It might not. Do quote us on that down below. Don't quote us on that down below. But yeah, the Priest for me was probably one of the best classes to be in PvP. Now, like I say, guys, before we end this video, all of this could change on the 21st. They could do balancing fixes, balancing changes, whatever. And the one at the very bottom of the list could become the greatest one ever in Battlegrounds. And I'm not saying any of the classes are bad. I'm not saying any of the classes are... Well, I am. I'm not saying any of the classes are the best. This is my opinion for my experience of the best classes to be in PvP for Tarisland if you want high kills or you want survivability, etc. But like I say, this could all change when the game does launch, and we might have a completely different meta or a different whatever. And that's not counting arenas as well. Obviously, arenas are a big part of PvP, so hopefully I can do an updated list for arenas when they actually come out, and you know exactly what the best sort of character to choose for both simultaneously is. Anyway, guys, love to know your thoughts down below. If you think I'm wrong, or if you think some of the positions of the list need changing, do let us know in the comments. I would love to know. And thanks for watching. Please like down below. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. Hopefully, I'll see you very soon in the next one. Catch you then.